Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. As a courtesy to your fellow media members as well as the coaches and student athletes, please silence your cell phones. Please provide your name and media affiliation each time you ask a question during the press conference. If you're joining us via Zoom, please use the raise hand function for questions. We will address questions in the room first and then get to Zoom if time allows. Video recording of the press conference is prohibited. It will be available later. You are welcome to record audio if you'd like. We're going to get started with an opening statement from Coach Ivey and then go to question and answer for the student athletes. So with that, we'll turn over to you, Coach.
Well, really excited about this win. First, I'd like to thank South Bend. It was a sold-out crowd. The energy was amazing. We had the most student tickets and student section of our program's history, so I was really, really excited for that and just excited to see the buzz that's here in South Bend because of women's basketball and obviously our program. It was a little bit ugly, I felt like, defensively. We found a way with foul trouble with this team. I thought these two did a phenomenal job of just leading us. Started with AD. It's our first NCAA game, so I was really, really excited for her. Something that just coming to this game, I was just something that we talked about in the recruiting process of you wanting to go postseason, and it meant a lot to me today. And the fact that you were the last person to get called in the starting lineup, I thought that was just icing on the cake. So really happy the way that AD started this. The game, I thought she shot the ball really well. Thought we had a lot of great support and a lot of great things happened within our entire team. But I thought Sony was so solid for us. She had a quiet, almost 30 piece, always so solid, does so much for us. So we're just looking forward to Monday's matchup, again, survive in advance, and just really proud of this group.
And we can now go to question and answer for the student athletes. You can just raise your hand. They'll be passing around a microphone.
Tyler Horka, Blue and Gold Illustrated. For Anna, you got off to a hot start, like Coach said. How'd you just kind of compose yourself, like with this being your first NCAA tournament game, and kind of give your team what it needed in that moment in the first quarter?
Yeah, I think I was actually talking to one of my classmates the other day about just like enjoying every moment and knowing that like I get another chance to step on this court and wear this jersey. It just means a lot, and I think just enjoying every second and trying to remind myself like why I'm here and why I'm doing what I'm doing, and just truly enjoying every second that I get to step on this court with my friends.
And then for Sony, Coach called a timeout kind of late in the fourth, midway through the fourth, and then you guys went on a 10-2 run after that. So just kind of how did y'all compose yourself? Because Kent State was making its run, but then you guys kind of made the run that closed the game out.
Yeah, I think, again, just staying poised. Basketball is a game of runs, and we knew that it was our mistakes, like we were doing it to ourselves, so we kind of just had to clean it up and just lock in and just stay poised. They went on their run, so just lock in on defense and just keep pushing it.
Jeffrey Clark, Fighting Irish Wire. Sonia, it seemed like a lot of your passes were coming straight from Hannah, especially on the break. So can you just talk about the chemistry that you two have developed over the course of this season, especially with this being her first season?
Yeah, Hannah's a great point guard. She's going to find you if you're open. So I think just credit to her. She was finding me in transition, and I was running, trying to get ahead of Kent State. So I think she just did a good job finding me, and this is, it's coming to the end of the season, so I think we've just been playing together for so long, so we've kind of just built that chemistry, just playing together.
And Anna, like Coach said, this was your first NCAA tournament game, so how was it that you were able to get off to such a nice shooting start in that first quarter with all the jitters that come with the tournament, and obviously it must have been kind of mind-boggling that you were able to get so much success early on?
I think just locking into our scout and knowing what we have to do as a team and just go in and play our game.
Eric Hansen, Inside ND Sports. I remember this time. Sony, just following up on the passing question, the spin pass that Hannah got to you. Maybe you don't even remember it because it's so routine. I just wondered if that's routine for her in practice.
Was that the bounce? The bounce pass?
Yeah, bounce.
It was hard. I couldn't even see the pass because the Kent State girl was like in the line of it. So I just saw the bounce pass coming to me. So I honestly didn't even see her pass it, but knew that she was gonna find me through that little, I don't know what you call it, but yeah, I didn't really see it. But credit to Hannah. She's a great passer. So.
It seemed like the offense got a little bit bogged down in the third quarter, and Coach likes to talk about what you can learn from games, both wins and losses. Maybe what do you guys take as a learning experience from this game?
Is that for me or?
That's for Sony and Hannah.
Okay. Sorry. I think regarding the third quarter, right? Was that your question? The third quarter in our offense. I think we were just getting stagnant. I think we were settling for outside shots. So just keeping the ball moving and driving, kicking, and just keep moving. I think we were getting a little stagnant.
Tom Noyes, South Bend Tribune.
No, we can hear you.
Anna, how important was it for you to play in an NCAA tournament in your career?
That was the biggest reason why I transferred. And when I got on my first call with Coach Ivey, she said to me, like, this is what you want, this is where you need to come. And she said to me that if you come here, we're going to win a championship. So the ACC tournament was definitely super special, but being here in March Madness, it's even more special.
You want to treat every game the same, but what was it like waking up this morning knowing you're going to play in an NCAA tournament game for the first time in your career?
It was really exciting. Yeah, I think that's it. It's simple. It was really exciting.
Kurt Rollo, Associated Press. Sony, can you elaborate on what enabled you to have that kind of start you had and spark that 18-0 run?
Yeah, I mean, I think my teammates were just finding me and I was just getting good positions to shoot, and I was knocking them down, and then I think I was getting a lot of my points off of just transition, so it's pretty easy, just open layup, so it was just, yeah.
How many did we miss?
Matt Lucas, Goshen News. For either one of you guys, the assist number was pretty high early on in this game. How important is it for you guys to have multiple players to touch every possession and share the ball around the feel of the game early on?
I think that's what makes our team so special. Like, we have such, not depth, but like depth in like who can score and whose night it's going to be. And I think that's why it makes it so hard to guard us, because it's anyone's given day.
And then going with off the depth, I mean, you guys had the foul trouble early on, later on today. How do you guys work through that, through the moment when you know that there's not many people that you can have come off the bench and you have to hold yourself accountable in defense?
Yeah, Coach talks a lot about adjusting to the refs. I think we struggled a little bit with that today, myself included. But I think just adjusting to what the refs are calling is really important for us, especially down the stretch.
Any additional questions for our student athletes?
Hi there, Joan Rosenblum, Record Courier. Just curious, Coach mentioned the environment, and it was, I mean, the stadium was filling up 30, 45 minutes before the game, had, great buzz to the arena all night. Just, I'd be curious to hear the student athlete's perspective on what it was like tonight out there.
Go ahead.
It was amazing. I mean, playing basketball in that kind of environment, just seeing how much support we have from our students, just all of South Bend, it's an incredible feeling, and I think it really, it just inspires us, playing basketball on that court when after you hit a three or whatever, good defensive stop, whatever it is, just hearing the crowd, it really plays into the game, so it meant everything.
We'll have time for 2 more questions for our student athletes if anyone has any. All right, thank you to our student athletes. You guys are dismissed to head back to the locker room. Also, just as a note, the locker rooms are open to the media if you'd like to speak with other players as well. So with that, we'll go to our question and answer for Coach Ivey.
Good luck, Coach.
Thanks.
So questions?
Tyler Horka, Blue and Gold Illustrated, right here, Coach. I asked Sony about that timeout. I'm curious why you thought that you needed to take that in that moment, and just kind of what was said, and then what you thought of the response by the team as well.
Right. I thought that they were gaining momentum from our defensive lapses, and I thought we turned the ball over multiple possessions. So I wanted to regroup with the group, with the team, and just talk about what we needed to do defensively. Like she mentioned, I thought we settled for a lot of outside jumpers, and so we didn't get a chance to get either downhill or paint touches, and so that's why I talked about I just needed to we needed to regroup and just really focus on our defensive lapses that we were having at that moment.
And then speaking of defense, with the foul trouble, it seems like you guys have done a good job of staying out of it, even with the low numbers. Do you feel like that's as bad as it gets with 3 players finishing with 4? Obviously, fouling out is is possible. But
Yes.
like if that's as bad as it gets and it does get better, then do you think that you're in a pretty good spot knowing what you guys need to do the rest of this tournament?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, we had a game versus Pitt where I had Maddie out with a concussion, fouled out Nat, so we ended with almost having to play one of our scholarship player walk-ons that turned to a scholarship player. So we've been in this environment or had this experience before. So I'm hoping that was the worst of it. But like AD said, you have to adjust, and I didn't think that we adjusted in a timely manner. I thought we fouled and had some defensive lapses that put us in a bad situation with foul trouble, and hopefully that was a lesson for us, and then we could do better on Monday.
Jeffrey Clark, Fighting Irish Wire. Coach, you won a national championship as a player and another one as an assistant coach, so you know what this tournament is like. Hannah and Anna had not played in the tournament before this, so did you tell them anything specific about playing this tournament before today?
Yes, I told the entire team just in general of March Madness and what that means, and also just had a side conversation with AD, and then another conversation with Hannah. When you've never been in this moment, you don't understand the magnitude of it, and so I knew that they were both going to be really excited, and again, having AD have this moment, but also being the last person in the starting lineup, I thought that was just really special for her. But it is a constant conversation. I talk to them about watching games so they can see what it feels like with other teams. There's a lot of upsets that happened yesterday on the men and women's side. So we've talked about that and what that means as far as coming out here with the sense of urgency to play for great basketball for 40 minutes, no matter what the seeding or no matter having home court advantage. So we've talked about it all week.
When you were addressing the crowd after the last regular season game, you more or less indirectly gave a plea to have the tournament committee have games here for the tournament. So once you realized that you were in fact going to host the tournament, what was going through your mind?
I was so excited. The last regular season game, sold out arena, was so packed. The energy was amazing. And the buzz in South Bend is just incredible. And so I was really grateful. And I was praying that we had the opportunity to bring great women's basketball back here and to play here. And so that was a really big blessing. But credit to the team. We had to play 5 ranked teams right after that. In that whole stretch, and 3 games back-to-back in the ACC tournament. And we've worked to put ourselves in this position, so I'm really grateful.
Coach, your man defense in the first half was really good. I can understand why you started out in that, but what's the calculator on when you got to get out of that to go to the zone? What pushed you the other direction?
Right. Well, foul trouble, number one, and then I thought that they were doing a great job of getting downhill. You could tell, off of make or miss, they were head to the rim, and so I felt like we needed to have a little bit more containment within our zone to try to slow them down, and so that's what sometimes forces me to do it.
The Kent State coach yesterday said the analogy is Hannah looks like a kid at recess on a sugar high. It looked like in the third quarter, maybe that was true. What turned up the volume, the gear for her? It looked like she found another gear in the third quarter. Yes,
I think probably the energy of the game. She was probably a little bit of jitters initially. Some of her shots weren't falling, and then she finally got a couple steals, got some couple easy wide open baskets and full court off of her defensive energy, and I thought that really ignited her. Got to the free throw line, so she saw some shots go down. I thought that's when she got her second win.
Coach Jonah with the Record Courier again. Just curious, obviously you guys took a big lead when you held them scoreless for 7 minutes, I think, in the first quarter. Got out to a big run in the second quarter, but they kept hanging around. And I'm just curious, you obviously watched a lot of film on them. You don't get to play them much.
Right.
What did you make of Kent State? They just would not go away all game long.
Yeah, they're a really tough team. I watched them a lot. He does a fantastic job. They have a lot of three-level scorers. They play with the tenacity. They're very disciplined. They play really good defense and force you to take a lot of contested twos. So I thought they played really well. They've coming off of the MAC championship. They're playing at a high level, and like I said, he does a really great job there. So I was very impressed by them.
Do we have any additional questions for Coach Ivey?
I'm just curious what you made of Sonia's play today. It just seemed like all the time she's that player that can give you the big bucket when you need it. It's not like y'all needed a bunch of big buckets today, but she got a bunch of them anyway. So just how good was she tonight?
She was fantastic tonight, and she's what we needed as far as just settling our offense down. Again, we took a couple outside jumpers, didn't get a lot of the O boards that I wanted, and we were kind of one shot and done. And I thought when the ball went through her hands, something great happened. She shot with confidence. She took the right shots. She played with great pace. And she's one of those players, defensively or offensively, that I know I can count on. She's one of our glue players that does so many things well, and she really helped us get going today.
All right. Thank you very much, Coach.
Thank
you
you
all for the questions as well. We'll have Kent State coming up shortly. Hammond Communications will post a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly. Thank you for joining us. All right, good afternoon, everybody. As a courtesy to your fellow media members as well as coaches and student athletes, please silence your cell phones. Please provide your name and media affiliation each time you ask a question during the press conference. If you're joining us via Zoom, please use the raise hand function for questions. We'll address questions in the room first and then get to Zoom if time allows. Recording these press conferences via video is prohibited. You may record the audio if you'd like. We're going to get started with the opening statement from head coach Starkey, and then following that, we'll have questions for the student athletes. So, Coach, go right ahead.
Yeah, we tried to make it interesting down the stretch, and that was our goal: is to let everyone know, win or lose in this game, that Kent State was here and that we compete and we play together. And so, I'm really proud of our team, the way we played. It was looking early like it was going to be a 35, 40-point blowout, and we wanted to have something to say about that. I thought our players did a really good job of executing at times and really keeping it close. Defensively, I thought we did a really good job on Hannah Hidalgo. I mean, you got to take something away. You got to try and take something away against a team as talented as them. We just didn't expect Citron to have 29 at career high. I mean, she was just unconscious. She hit some shots. Now we helped her out. She had some open looks, but she hit some difficult shots as well, and really was what separated them early. So proud of our fight. Fourth quarter, we made it interesting, and we knew they had to play the rest of the game. So last thing I'll say in the opening statement is I'm really proud of these two and their teammates. Janae Tyler, obviously, for a freshman, the level of composure that she's had and how she's played the last couple of weeks has been phenomenal, just phenomenal. And she's put everybody on notice that Kent State is coming. Okay, we're coming next year too. So, and then Katie Shoemate, like, just, one of the one of the best competitors I've ever coached. And Katie and I have continued to get along for 5 years because she hates to lose as much as I do. And her teammates all love her. And that's the most important thing, the type of relationships that these players have formed this year. And we have a MAC championship that can't be taken away from us. So these girls, as sisters for the rest of their lives, will be championship teammates.
We'll now open it up to questions for the student athletes.
Kurt Rowell, Associated Press. Katie, can you talk about what enabled your team, from your perspective, to cut it back to 13 and then fight back in the fourth quarter, cut it to 12?
Yeah, I would say that it was just our will and our determination. We were playing for each other, and everyone knew that that we didn't want to go out by giving up, and that we were going to continue to press forward and keep trying to make it a game and play hard. So all the credit to my teammates for that. From the bottom of our roster to the top, we never gave up. So.
Hi, Jonah Rosenblum, Record Courier. Katie, I just wanted to ask, I just checked the stats. You led all players out there in rebounding. KSU, I think, had a +5 edge, and you had 11. I'm just curious. I know that's who you are. I've seen your stats, and you get a ton of rebounds every game. But just tell me to fight. You're a guard. You're a guard who fights as hard as heck out there on the glass. Just tell me a little bit about that part of your game.
Yeah, I guess I've never been the tallest or the strongest, so kind of just have to will myself to do it, and just the energy that we get and my teammates get from when we get second possessions and when we get a push in transition. It's just, you put your mind to it and you try to do it.
Jacob Shondell, Kent Wired. Janae, I believe it's now 4 of your last 5 games you've been in double figures. Just what has allowed you to have this much success in some of the most crucial games maybe you've ever played?
Definitely my teammates. I'm doing it for my seniors. This isn't an individual game. These girls have worked so hard to get us here. So I'm just going to work just as hard, maybe even harder, to do it for them. That's definitely what's gotten me this far.
And then, Katie, just from your perspective, what has it been like watching Janae from when she first stepped onto the team to where she's at right now?
It's been great. We've always believed in Janae, but just the way that she's been able to step up, and especially in big moments, it seems like Janae's always there, and she's always fighting, and she's just showing us what she's capable of and staying under control. And I think as a freshman, that's extremely hard to do, and we're just lucky to have her on our team.
Jonah, Record Courier again. Katie, I was just curious. Obviously, if something has to end, it might as well be given a great team like Notre Dame a heck of a fight. That environment, that crowd, getting this program back to March Madness. Just what did today as a whole mean to you in terms of where you've left this program?
I'm not upset at all about the way we went out. We won our MAC championship, and I got to play with these girls, and I think especially playing here, it was really fun. It was a great environment. They cheered us out. Great fans here, and the girls getting to play against them. It was a great experience, and every time I get to play with these girls, it was great. So it was a good way to go out.
Kelsey Horner, Kent Wired. Janae, what have you been able to learn from Katie and the other seniors?
I've learned a lot, not even only basketball-wise. I've learned just like my presence outside of the court, but definitely on the court I've learned how to have composure, be confident with what I am and just follow in their footsteps. Definitely great mentors.
And Katie, what impact do you hope you left on Kent State basketball program?
I think just that you work hard and play together and get more accomplished, and you can be goofy sometimes, but when it's time to be serious, it's time to be serious and to be about business and just play hard. It's more fun when you're playing hard and playing together. So
we have time for a couple more questions for our student athletes.
Dane Richardson, Kent State Radio. Katie, how is your relationship with the overall coaching staff, Coach Lex, Coach Page, Coach Fran, and Coach Starkey grown throughout your 5 years?
I would say that it's not wavered at all, and that it has grown, and that they've always believed in me and been here for me, and they're the reason why I'm able to do, or I was able to accomplish the things that I did and what we did together. Me and Coach Starkey have known each other for a real long time now, and I just think that, I know that I wouldn't be here without them, and our relationship it was good from the start, and it's only gotten better.
Jonah with the Record Courier again. Janae, I'm just curious about the courage to go up. Obviously this is a team that has a lot of length, and you're a freshman, and this is your first time in this environment, and you were going up against, women who were 2-3 inches taller than you and going up without fear. I think you were like 6 out of 7 from the field at one point. Just talk about the courage to, and how you overcome some height disadvantages sometimes out there.
Definitely just knowing their weaknesses and how to get to the basket, being undersized, knowing just to get around their body rather than just trying to go straight up. That's really all I can do.
All right, thank you very much to our student athletes. You guys are welcome to rejoin your teammates. And we'll now open it up to Q&A for Coach Starkey.
Hey, Coach, Eric Hansen with Inside ND Sports. My first question, you mentioned trying to take Hannah Hidalgo away. What was your strategy? What did you employ to try to take or limit her game?
Well, I can't give all my secrets away. They still got games to play, right? No, I think one of the biggest things was we just wanted to make sure that we were really extended to the ball. I mean, for the last 3 days, we've just been yelling in practice, to the ball, to the ball, to the ball. And if you give her space to operate, man, she's just so explosive and so dangerous. We knew that we didn't have a chance in this game if she got 25, 30 points, because what that means is then she's able to get points and distribute. And so she affects the game in so many different ways. We just wanted to make her shots difficult, really crowd her. We also wanted to try and attack her and get her in a little bit of foul trouble. They had a little bit of foul trouble. We didn't get quite to the point where we wanted to, but man, she's a tough matchup. So once again, our defensive game plan on her was good, but it backfired in that Citron had just an unbelievable shooting day.
And just following up on the foul trouble comment, you got Westbeld and Marshall in pretty early foul trouble when you guys were in the bonus. I'm not sure if it was the second or third quarter, like almost 6 minutes left. How intentional was that, and what was kind of your thinking there?
Yeah, definitely the second quarter is when that happened. The third quarter was kind of the opposite of that, but it was, well, she was just sitting here, Janae Tyler, and being able to throw the ball inside to her and her level of composure to be able to, I mean, freshman in this environment, I mean, she did it in the MAC tournament last week as well. Just threw the ball and she didn't get sped up. She took her time and finished over bigger opponents, and she just has a knack for scoring around the basket. And so we're fortunate to get a few fouls on those two early, and it paid dividends for us for sure as the game wore on. We just wanted to get to a point where the score was diminished so we could actually take advantage of some of that.
Jonah Rosenblum, Record Courier. Just curious, I mean, obviously a tough shooting night at times, but you guys actually out-rebounded a team that has a ton of length, 37-32, 12-6 on the offensive glass. You know, obviously, Shoemate had 11 as a guard. I'm just curious, what does that say about the fight of this team? Because I think that's probably what stood out most from today is just how hard you attack the glass and the game overall.
Well, I think we're walking out of this building and our fights is not in question. I mean, our players came to play. Some things didn't go our way early. We had a hole to dig out of, but we had I guess you don't dig out of holes, you crawl out of them. But, you know, we did some crawling. I mean, they kept fighting tooth and nail. And like I said, Notre Dame's the type of team that can make runs on you real quick and get it to a 25, 30-point game. And we didn't let them do it. And I'm proud of that. I think it just speaks to what this group is about. They're about each other, and they fought for us as coaches. They fought for each other more than that. I mean, this is sisterhood. What Katie said about that, she means that. You hear Janae Tyler speak about the mentors that she had in the upperclassmen. That stuff matters. That stuff matters. And you know, the other statistic I want to point out is in Katie Shoemate's 2 games against top 10 opponents, at LSU 22-11, at Notre Dame 20-11. She averaged 21.5 points, 11 rebounds against 2 top 10 opponents. Kid's a future pro, without a doubt. And like I said, just really proud for the Kent State community and for our players.
Dane Richardson, Kent State Radio. Coach, now that you saw Janae do this throughout the MAC tournament and today, what can be the expectation for her in future years with your team, and what type of performance could we see her rise to in the following years?
Well, we're going to run a lot of plays for her. I mean, we're going to get Janae the ball. And I think she's one of the thing about Janae that's really unique is she's, as a freshman, she's a lot of composure, but she's one of the more coachable student athletes I've ever had. She really wants to. We talk about being coachable. It's not like it. There's two phases to that. You have to be a good listener, but if you don't try and apply that, it's not being coachable. Applying what you're told is being coachable, and she does that. She really tries to go out and do what you ask her to do. She wants to get better, and her teammates love the type of energy she brings to our team.
Jake Miller, Observer Sports. Coach, after making 1 3-pointer in the first half, your team got hot in the third, making 4 from 8 from 1 point. What did you say at halftime, and do you think the quality of those looks changed?
You know, that's a good question. We talk about this a lot. Don't pass up good, okay? And I thought the shots that we got in the first half were good shots. They just didn't go down. Some of the first quarter shots, you're watching the same game I did, the ball was halfway down and bounced around and bounced out, and theirs just went in. And sometimes that happens, especially, I mean, it's different than the men's tournament. You're playing against the number 7, 8, 9 team in the country on their home floor. I mean, they're used to shooting in this environment. So at halftime, the message was keep shooting good shots. Keep shooting good shots. And they're either going to go in or they're not, but you don't make, what's the old adage, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. You miss all the shots that you don't take, but I mean, it doesn't make sense, but for us, it's like keep shooting good shots, right? Don't change what's gotten us here, and then just keep being who you are, and they play with a lot of courage.
Alex Isaiah, Kent State TV2. Coach, what do you hope this team as a whole learns from this experience?
There's a lot of lessons to learn, right? I think the biggest thing is that it was possible, right? That's the biggest thing, that you're capable. We have a lot of good underclassmen that are coming back, and that they're capable of this. You get a taste of this, you want more of it. They also realize that some of it makes you be a more effective coach, because some of the things that you have been telling them all year, right, came to fruition. So all of a sudden you got a lot smarter as a coach because it happened, right? But they'll learn a lot of stuff. I think the biggest thing is just the sisterhood stuff. They've had the best time this past week and a half, just enjoying the tournament, fighting through that, winning a championship, confetti falling on their heads and coming to Notre Dame, and just all the hype around it. So they'll look back and have a lot of incredible memories.
We've got time for just 2 more questions here.
Kelsey Horner, Kent Wired. Going into the second half, how did your defensive game plan change?
Yeah, we talked about if we didn't get more rigid on the defensive side of things and really we had to turn up the volume. We're a good defensive team. We did not show that in the first half, and so we talked about that. Like, this isn't who we are. You're more capable than this. We've got to get more resilient, tougher. We've got to talk better in screening action. And come out and show people what you're made of. I was more worried about the defensive side. I knew shots were going to fall for us, but we had to get more rigid on the defensive end. We made a couple slight adjustments, but other than that, we just got tougher and did a much better job defensively.
Jacob Shondell, Kent Wire. Just what has it meant to you to not only coach Katie but Abby and Michaela?
I mean, I could spend a lot of time on that, but all 3 of them got to this situation where they are in different ways. Michaela Morris, a 5th-year transfer who just blended right in and made a huge impact on our program from the start. Abby Ogle, all the ups and downs that she's gone through with injuries and that type of thing, but to keep fighting and she made some big plays for us today. She gave us a great spark off the bench. And then Katie, I could talk for hours about her, but she's just been a phenomenal student athlete. She's going to graduate with a bio pre-med major, and her plan was to go to medical school. But the way she's played the last year and a half, she's going to play. She's going to play. Keep playing as long. I told her keep playing as long as you can, and you can be a doctor the rest of your life. So.
1 more question.
Dane Richardson, Kent State Radio. Coach, what can you say about Deanna Gray and her ability? Corinne Hauser goes down in February. You don't have her for the rest of the year. Deanna ties a career high in the MAC title game and then puts up 12 today against the defensive ball pressure of Hannah Hidalgo. What can you say about her impact and her development going forward?
I'll give you a better stat than that. 5 assists, 3 turnovers against maybe the best defensive guard in the country. I mean, the grit, the toughness, the fight that she had, she wasn't backing down from anybody today. And that's the Deanna Gray that we recruited to Kent State. I mean, she's capable of that, and I'm really proud of her toughness. I'm really proud of how her teammates continue to encourage her, even though she had a couple of rough moments as she took over that starting role. They believed in her, and they kept encouraging her, and that set her up for the success that she had down the stretch.
All right, thank you very much, Coach, and congratulations on a great season.
Thank you.
Hammond Communications will post a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly. Thank you for joining us.
Can I give these away?
Yes.
Appreciate you guys' coverage all year.